Hello, I'm Craig-Cochran, Director of Human Resources Middle East and Asia for Mövenpick Hotels and Resorts.
And I'm Alex-Rawson, responsible for learning and development for Mövenpick Hotels and Resorts for the Middle East and Asia region. Craig and I would like to share with you some top tips on how to improve your chances of securing employment in this current period of downturn in business.
Absolutely. Our first tip is to ensure that you have a good CV that's been well prepared and that is in line with the type of jobs that you're applying for. If you have a background in human resources and you've decided that you want to try and branch out into another area and you want to apply for jobs in another area, make sure you have a CV that supports that application or whatever application you're making and supports the skills and abilities required for those particular jobs. A CV is the first foot in the door. It's what any employer sees first, and you need to make sure that you have a CV that attracts attention and delivers on what the employer will be looking for in that particular circumstance.
And some of that tailoring can be just some key words or focus on particular projects that you've worked upon that that match that job profile. The second tip that we have is around exploring every avenue. Don't leave any stone unturned with regards to searching for employment. So using the many resources that you can that are available with regards to recruitment. So whether that's company specific websites, agency websites, the newspapers that are available, and really just get out there and do your research.
Absolutely. You have to remember that during a time of downturn, most companies are looking to reduce their expenses as well. And a very cost-effective way of recruiting for companies during these times is through their own corporate websites. So target the companies that you want to apply to and make applications directly on their websites, as that's a very cost-effective way for them to find you as well as for you finding them.
And even stepping away from the industry-specific career that you've had so far may be actually a good tip of exploring other options, because they sometimes have similar roles but different industries, and yeah, there can be some really good finds.
Absolutely. Our third tip is to ensure that you network. Use the contacts that you have available to you that you might have built up through your career so far, and don't be shy. If you are looking for employment, you need to be bold. You need to approach people, and you need to call in a few favours perhaps that you might have gathered over the years, and make sure that you do cast your net very broadly and speak to people. Still, one of the most effective ways of finding employment in a time of downturn or in good times is through word of mouth, and make sure that you use the contacts that are available to you, that you get out there and you speak to people.
Yeah. The next tip is about keeping active and keeping that energy high. If you're looking for a role and you don't have current employment, sometimes that motivation can start slipping. So what we mean about keeping active is really just making sure that you're keeping the routine of getting up early and keeping fresh, even keeping that social network going, because you can feed off some of the positive energy from friends around you and perhaps previous employees that you've worked with, to again link back to the networking top tip that we've mentioned just previously.
Absolutely. I mean, for somebody who doesn't have a job, finding a job should be your full-time job. So treat it as a job. Get out of bed early. Make sure that you get ready. Put on a suit when you go out looking for work. As we've mentioned, look for contacts and don't be afraid to knock on doors and be bold. I think it's also very important during times like this to research which companies are still actively looking to increase their workforce, which companies are still recruiting. It's very important that you target those companies who are still looking for people. And even during times of downturn, there are certain businesses that prosper. There are still hotels or businesses that will open during these times. And it's very important that you remain current with the industry and you stay in tune, either through the internet, newspapers, contacts, of who is looking to employ people, and make sure that you target those particular companies.
The next tip is about being flexible, and what we mean by flexibility is be open to different locations to work. If you're restricting yourself to a city or a town specifically, that does lessen the opportunities that may be available to you. We know that there are some personal circumstances that restrict a number of applicants, but the wider you can consider geographically, the more opportunities that may open out to you. Flexibility is also looking at the salary that you're expecting. Be open to offers that are away from perhaps your initial level and figure that you've got in mind. And the title, sometimes we all have that expectation of what the next job title should be, but flexibility around that terminology or the label that's attached to that particular position would be beneficial as well.
Absolutely, and I think to sum up all of our tips as a final piece of advice is to stay positive. If you do find yourself out of work or looking for a role, it's very important to stay positive. When you go for interviews, interviewers will pick up on any bitterness or negativity that you might have if you're not able to lose that. And despite being unsuccessful in 5, 7, 10 interviews, you need to keep that smile on your face, you need to keep going, and you need to remain portraying a very positive image of yourself, because interviewing somebody whose heart is not in it, who is not positive, who's not self-confident, often damages the impression that the interviewer might have of you, or might not be an accurate reflection of how you usually are. So it is important to stay on top of that and remain positive throughout. So those are our top tips for people who are looking for employment during times of economic difficulty. I would like to say at this point that Mövenpick Hotels and Resorts would be more than happy to receive applications from anybody in the industry who's looking for work. We are a growing company who is moving forward through these times. You can submit your application on our website, movenpickhotelsandresorts.com, and we'd be very happy to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck.